My name is Olupot Gregon, soil scientist from Makerere. We are here in Tororo district on a Unicasa project. This project is premised on improving resilience of cereal legume cropping systems to climate change, and also controlling and managing the weed. There is a weed called striker, which is very notorious in soils that have got depleted. When we came here in Tororo around March, April, we observed that the soils were quite exhausted and there were multiple deficiency symptoms of nutrients. And from one of the demonstration sites, we realized that the farmer could not actually did not get anything from what he had planted maize. We made a diagnosis and then prescribed a solution that actually ensured that nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and all these other nutrients, we could see clearly symptoms of magnesium deficiency, zinc, and all this. We made sure that beyond the NPK, we actually addressed those other micronutrients also. And within a season so far, we had a field day yesterday. The responses were quite impressive. I'm a co-principal investigator for one of the students who is pursuing her master's, Juliet Ariho, in this project, and my role was to diagnose this problem and then also design a strategy to address it.
I'm Juliet Ariho, pursuing Masters of Science in Soil Science, sponsored by Unicasa project. The title of my research is assessing the effectiveness of cowpea and biochar on Striga Hamontheca suppression in sorghum-based cropping systems, and this is sponsored by Unicasa project. The main objective is to assess the effectiveness of biochar and cowpea on Striga Hamontheca suppression in sorghum-based cropping systems. In here, we shall ensure the enhancement of soil productivity and the nutrient retention of the soils by biochar amendment, and the apparent nitrogen recovery and use efficiency of sorghum will be enhanced by 100%, and the suppression of Striga Hamontheca will be 75% once biochar and NPK are amended into the soils. The outcome of this project will be suppression of striga, which is a major constraint in sorghum production, by 75% when biochar and NPK amendments are applied together in the sorghum-based cropping systems. And the second outcome will be the enhancement of soil productivity with nutrient retention capacity of the soils, such that the nitrogen recovery and the use efficiency by sorghum will be enhanced by almost 100%.
Application of biochar. Biochar is a material that has been subjected to limited burning under limited oxygen conditions. In the same way they produce charcoal, so charcoal dust, wood ash, and all these materials can actually make a good biochar. It enhances the capacity of the soil to hold water and nutrients. So we applied it and supplemented it with wood ash and also NPK 17. We applied these inputs, and the student is carrying a detailed experiment including application of biochar with NPK, no application, either a monoculture of sorghum or sorghum intercropped with cowpea. So we are still collecting data, but so far the results are quite impressive. We are observing vigorous growth where inputs have been applied. The field when you look down is moister compared to where there are no inputs applied, because the plants are still struggling to establish. The soil is drier, and the biomass from the applied inputs is high because it has covered the land. Much of the solar radiation falls on vegetation precipitation, and therefore it is converted into chemical energy for biomass production. And much of the water loss where the inputs are applied is through transpiration. In the other controls, much of the loss of the energy is through evaporation, which also carries away the water, leaving the fields drier. So we expect that at the end of this, and based on our interaction with the district officials yesterday and the farming community and other experts in the area advocacy and all this, good practices are going to be picked on that are climate smart to respond to the impacts of climate change in this community. Thank you very much.
I'm Dr. Drake Mirembe. I work with Makerere University College of Computing and Information Sciences, and I'm a coordinator of the UNICASA project, focusing on the ICT work package of the component. The research component of ICT focuses on 3 critical areas. Number 1, it is the digital literacy and awareness around farmers, on how they can use technologies to improve the productivity and the learning. Number 2, we are developing an artificial intelligence enabled farmer knowledge mining and the integration e-extension system, where I'm working with Musa Rahim as a master's student. And on this project, really, we're trying to say farmers have knowledge and they have practices they have learned. And this knowledge is often passed on from one generation to the other. How can this knowledge be properly mined from these farmers and automatically integrated into extension systems and reverted back to the farmers? The other third element we are working on is we are working with my PhD student, Kato Jacob, on designing an artificial intelligence automated bird detection and deterring in cereal crops, especially rice.
I'm called Kato Jacob, a PhD student from Makerere University. I'm doing a project in artificial intelligence system which will help me to identify and detect birds away from the rice fields. My project is being sponsored by UNICASA project funded by Government of Uganda. The main objective of this research is to come up with, is to understand the behaviors of birds. Then I'll use that behaviors to come up with a system which will be able to detect and scare these birds. The output of the project will be to have an effective and efficient tool which will be used in the rice farms at a low cost to farmers.
Cereal value chains lose nearly 30 to 40% of their crop yield due to birds. So we are working on an artificial intelligence tool using solar powered solutions, where we also use cameras and security microphones to help analyze the bird behaviors. So by knowing the sound the birds make when they are feeding, when they are being scared, so we are able to use this information to detect whether the birds are coming to feed and then produce a sound that scares these birds from the field. This way, we believe that it will make farming, particularly in the cereal crops, a little bit affordable, improve the quality of life of farmers, reduce the social hazards of cereal in the cereal value chain, particularly the issues of children not going to school and women not being at home during the process of bird scaring and bird watching.
I'm Musa Rahim, a student at Makerere University, pursuing a master's degree in data communication and software engineering, doing a research in artificial intelligence of the title "An Artificial Intelligence Enabled Farmer Knowledge Mining and Integration Framework into the E-Extension System." My main research objective is to establish key requirements for a knowledge mining and integration framework into the E-Extension System, and then to develop a pragmatic knowledge mining and integration framework, and then to evaluate the developed framework. The project will generate data that will be used as a springboard for artificial intelligence farmer applications. The project will also promote a horizontal knowledge transfer of knowledge from farmer to farmer, and then the study The framework developed will also be used into other studies, for example, into education. The project is being funded by UNICASA and Makerere University under the government of Uganda.
My name is Ellen Asasira. I'm a student at Makerere University from the Department of Extension and Innovation Studies. I'm pursuing a master's degree in agriculture extension and education. My research is about assessing application of cereal legume intercropping systems in Busia and Tororo districts. My study is being sponsored by LIP Agri under the UNICASA project, which is aiming at improving soil fertility and productivity of smallholder farmers using the cereal legume intercropping kind of system. So in my study, I'm looking at the practices, the indigenous practices that farmers are already practicing in my study area, which is Busia and Tororo. Secondly, I'm looking at the existing knowledge. What do they know about these practices they are using, especially in terms of improving their soils, improving their soils fertility. And thirdly, the motivation. What makes them intercrop the way they're intercropping? What makes them grow these crops? What makes them use the sequences they use? So all that is what I'm going to be looking at in my study.
My name is Emmanuel Opolot, and I come from the Department of Agricultural Production, College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Makerere University. One of the things that we do as university staff is community outreach. We do research and we do the teaching. For the project under UNICASA, that is spearheaded by Dr. Bernard Obaa as the principal investigator. My role was to lead the team in the research aspect in terms of soil science. So when we moved into project areas that included Busia and Tororo, we found out that the soils are really degraded, especially in the sub-counties of Kalait, Kwapa and Murukatipe in Tororo district. We found out very severe deficiencies in almost all the nutrients. But again, the challenge in these soils are that they are sandy and highly leachy. That means you cannot just go there and put nutrients, but you first also have to improve the capacity of the soils to actually retain these nutrients. So this is how we ended up trying to demonstrate to farmers that integrating biochar, which is a charcoal-like material that can be made from local materials, and then with the small amounts of inorganic fertilizers, NPK, can actually boost the productivity of these soils. And this is what we hypothesized and expected. So we went ahead to conduct experiments with the student, a Master of Science student in soil science, Juliet Ariho. So with these demos around the three sub-counties, we were able to actually demonstrate that this works, especially in these highly sandy and degraded soils. So we have already conducted a farmer field school, and farmers are really excited and happy because in any case they gave us fields that were again ranked maybe the poorest to try this out. So to their surprise, things have turned around and they see hope in what we are doing. So we want to thank the funders that include the government of Uganda in collaboration with so we want to thank the funders of this project, the government of Uganda in collaboration with the European Union, to give us this opportunity to demonstrate some technologies to local farmers, and we see that if these are scaled out, we'll have a better ending in terms of increasing the yields, but also putting money into farmers' pocket, because this project is also about value chain and then eventually from the production to marketing and value addition. So thank you very much.